Now, this qualified health plan coverage, the employers, so if you're a smaller employer and you choose to offer, a qualified health plan, let's say through an exchange or a plan elsewhere that meets the requirements to be a qualified health plan, but if it's actually, as this slide says here, it actually has to be purchased through the exchange itself, the employer can permit employees to pay for that coverage to the extent that you charge some of the premiums onto your employees, pay for it with pre-tax dollars through a cafeteria plan. But if I read the law correctly, though, that's only may only be for a certain limit of time, though, and it may only apply to, and there may be some exceptions to that too. So keep your eye open for how that might change. But certainly it's helpful if employees are having, as it is right now, if employees are having to pay for insurance coverage on out of their salary, it's helpful for them to be able to do so on a pre-tax basis through a cafeteria plan. Vouchers are going to be play an important role under this healthcare reform too, in the sense that employers that offer health plan coverage and do contribute something toward the cost of that coverage, which almost all employers really do, then the employers are supposed to, under this new system, effective again in 2014. So if you go back to the timeline, you'll see free choice vouchers on the right-hand side of that 2014 down there toward the bottom right-hand corner. So it'll be a while before it's in effect yet, but the whole purpose of the voucher is it equates, the value of the voucher is supposed to be equivalent to the amount that the employer would otherwise be contributing on behalf of an employee to the employer's own plan for the coverage under that plan through a qualified health plan that the small employer would be purchasing through an exchange. But the idea of the voucher is, and I don't know how political this was or not in terms of driving the idea to even have the voucher, but if an employee doesn't want the insurance coverage through their employer or feels that it's too costly, let's say, and they think they can find just as good a coverage elsewhere by getting a plan, an individual policy directly from the exchange, they are going to be allowed to do that. Opt out of the employer's plan, but take these dollars. So the employer, through the voucher process, is going to be forced to at least fund it. Allow the employees to take those dollars and use it elsewhere to apply toward the cost of coverage elsewhere. So one way or the other, employers are going to be asked to pay for it, either through their own plan or through the voucher process. A point I want to make here that's, let's see, before I forget, it's not on the slides, but it is on the first page of the timeline, the compliance timeline. Toward the top, in fact, it's the very first item on the first left-hand column, automatic enrollment, effective immediately. If you're a large enough employer, and by that I mean 200 employees or more, then under the new law, then all full-time employees, as soon as they are eligible for coverage, like new hires we're talking about here, are supposed to be automatically enrolled under the health plan unless the employee opts out. Now, technically speaking, even though it says effective now, it'll be effective when there are some regulations that come out that tell large employers how to apply this new rule. But those regulations on that point could come at any time, and as soon as those regulations are in place, then these larger employers will have to auto-enroll new hires under their health plan at the point in which they've passed their waiting period. You're still allowed to have a waiting period. We'll talk about that a little bit later on too. Let's say it's a 60-day waiting period or 30-day, whatever that is, but when they reach that point, you're supposed to automatically enroll them unless the employee opts out. So very similar to or analogous to automatic enrollment in the 401k plan world, which is not required, but it's been encouraged, by Congress, especially as part of the Pension Protection Act of 2006. Employers have been encouraged to have automatic enrollment features that get employees into their 401k plan unless the employee opts out. This is the first time we have that similar concept on the health plan side from a government mandate standpoint. I mean, employers have always been free to go that approach, but I'm not aware of none of my clients have gone with an automatic enrollment on the health plan side. Employees have had to opt in. So this turns it on its head, and if you're in the large employer category, you're going to have to automatically enroll when they're eligible to be enrolled, unless the employee opts out, and that'll become effective, you know, now or as soon as the regulation comes out, telling employers how to comply.